Hi, this is Kelly, and I am going to try to create some videos to kind of tell my story and share some information with people so that they understand who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish. So, I wrote a book called To the Beach, Cut Ties and Run, which you will see right there. And it was supposed to be my whole life story that shared my healing modalities and some of the healers I worked with that would help people find these amazing healing modalities that I discovered. The book got too long. I had to cut it in half. So To the Beach is the first half, basically from birth until 2005. And the next book will be called Back to the Beach, and it's going to be the rest of the story. And at the end of it's going to be segments of the different types of healing and how it worked for me and what I used it for and how it helped me grow. I wanted to help people understand that I had a spiritual awakening that started about 20 years ago or so. And it started with my intuition getting stronger. I didn't really realize what it was. I had gone to psychics, I had gotten readings and stuff like that. I believed in astrology, but I wasn't really in tuned with everything as I am today. So my awareness of how things were playing out in my life became more and more pronounced over time, meaning I had intuitive nudges and then they would come true and I would finally eventually connect the dots and help myself understand how everything worked together. So, the beginning of my life, I had struggles with my sister. She was very cruel and bullying, and my parents didn't see anything wrong with that, so they allowed it to happen. And I became very independent and kind of closed off as a little kid. I went through school very awkward, very confused, very insecure, no self esteem. Had a lot of struggles trying to find love everywhere. As I got older, I ended up using cocaine and became addicted to it for about 3 years, where it was really just devastating for me. I drank alcohol, from the time I was 19 until I was 55. I was guided to quit drinking alcohol through my spiritual awakening. I smoked cigarettes. I was guided to quit smoking cigarettes one day because it just didn't serve me anymore. And then I later learned that my current husband, that was one of his criteria, was no smoking. So I stopped smoking just before we met, and I finally wrapped it up when we first started to date. So it wasn't a big drama or trial for me. I was able to do it, and I credit my guides and my spiritual awakening for all of these things because I did not need rehab for leaving alcohol or drugs behind. I was just able to say I have had enough, work my way through a few months of letting it go fully and then walking away from it, never to use it again, fortunately. I had a pretty colorful life. I left Ohio when I was 27 after my first marriage ended. My husband and I had a fight. He ended up beating me up really bad. And it was interesting because he wasn't the kind of a person that would normally do that. My first husband was a very gentle soul, and I attribute the fight to it was time to go, it was time to move on, and a man taken to a breaking point where he literally snapped. So do I blame anybody? No, because there is nobody to blame. These were all lessons our souls signed up to learn. So we went through what we had to go through to understand what we needed to learn. And hopefully we're the better for it today. I know I am. I just hope he is. I moved to Florida. My roommate stole my car and wrecked it, almost killed somebody. I had no money, no job, no anything. Finally found a job. Then a hurricane came. There was just all these crazy things. And that's why I wrote the story To the Beach, because it tells the whole sequence of events. It is written in fiction. I shouldn't have done that, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. So the stories are all accurate, but the book is actually written as a fictional story. I gradually started to become more and more aware of my intuition as time went on. And I listened to it and I started to see these little synchronicities. And that was when the real magic of the spiritual awakening happened. I saw these little synchronicities and I noticed them. And the more I noticed them, the more I saw. And it was just like this ongoing river flowing of I'd have this intuitive nudge that something was going to happen, and then 2 seconds later it would happen, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is crazy. And as I started to acknowledge it, I would just get more and more of these little premonitions, of these little thoughts. So that was extremely exciting for me. And then I started to meet different people that kind of met me where I was, and they all had something to share with me that was relevant to where I was going. So I found that very interesting. And it wasn't always meeting people in person. Sometimes I'd find a course online or a book, or I'd hear a podcast or whatever, and I would get this message from these people. And some of the most profound teachers that I still credit for my growth are Wayne Dyer, one of my all-time heroes and mentors. Just love his whole story, follow him, to this day. And he is like my do all end all. He's like literally one of my guides. I loved Louise Hay's messages. I love James Van Prague's messages. I loved Sylvia Brown's messages for her practicality. And even when she got beat up and dogged down by the media, which is what happens to people when they become famous, she still stuck true to her word. And I just have learned so much from her teachings. So I've learned that you're always going to have a target on your back, whether you're teaching, kindergartners in school, or you're the president, or you're whatever you are. You're always going to have somebody that hates you, and you have to learn to live with that because you're not going to fix everybody. Another very important lesson for me. I still struggle with food addiction as I have my whole life. I feel like that's my last big hurdle because I literally don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, I don't eat meat. I stopped eating meat earlier this year, and that's been a huge turnaround for me, but it wasn't hard. My body said, we're done with meat, and I just stopped eating meat, and I haven't wanted any. I still struggle with sugar, obviously, because who doesn't? And I am doing the best I can to detoxify my body and be healthy. So I just wanted to share a little bit about who I am, a little of my story. And my goal is to connect with people who are either undergoing their own spiritual awakening and unsure of what's happening, or guide them through it, or help people heal from whatever it is they need to heal. I had a lot of issues where my mother instilled in me a lot of fears that weren't mine, and I didn't realize it until the last year or two. So more than half of my life was spent with these fears that were not mine. So I learned how to let them go. And I learned how to not be afraid of touching a dead animal, or not being afraid of seeing a snake, or not being afraid of whatever. After I was able to release all that stuff through various modalities of healing, I was able to feel like a totally different person. Like, I do not live in fear. I do not fear anything. There's nothing that scares me. I might become startled if somebody jumps out of a dark place at me, but I'm not afraid of that. I don't live a stressful existence. If I am stressed out, it's a temporary thing and it goes away. Stress is not a part of my life. It's not welcome in my life. I do not fear anything that's going to happen because I know that everything that's going to happen is meant to happen, and it's going to happen whether I like it or not. So why worry about it? I do get frustrated with things, but I try to remove my energy from whatever it is that's causing the frustration. And I watch, because I have this awareness now, I watch how my energy being removed from the situation actually resolves the situation or dissolves the situation. And it moves out of my presence. So a lot of quantum healing work and energy work has taught me these different principles, and they are the things that I teach people. So I just wanted to help people understand who I am and what I'm trying to do, what my message is. I have created my own hypnosis modality called Transform Hypnosis, which is a long session like a Dolores Cannon QHHT session, but I have added different facets to it that has made it my own, and I am able to do it virtually with great success. So I used Dolores's teachings as a basis, and then I learned other modalities like BQH, which is beyond quantum healing, and angel healing, and energy work, and just a lot of intuitive channeling, and combined it all together into one offering. So that's something I love to do. I'm very passionate about it. I have had great success with my clients, and it's just life-changing for them. So I love giving somebody that freedom to feel that they can grow and move on from whatever's holding them back. I also channel the ninth dimensional mantid beings, which are of the mantis race, but they are a higher intelligence version, kind of like the Einsteins of the mantis being race. They are never the same. I channel numerous different collectives of mantids. So I have some that speak very strongly to people, some are very compassionate, but they're all loving and supportive, and they offer a lot of great information to people. I offer channeling for people that want guidance through the channeling. question and answer sessions. I have a friend who channels Edgar Cayce. I hypnotize him. He channels Edgar and he offers healing to the audience, whatever they ask for, answers questions, offers healing. I do live events with group past life regressions. And I just want to do anything I can to help people find their true self, reach their highest potentials, and understand that none of this is a joke. Like right now, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Ohio, Manaway Center, very close to where I grew up. And there's people laughing about it and making jokes. Oh, why aren't there pictures? And they just don't get it, that these are dimensional beings that can pop in and out of visual abilities at will. They're not a gorilla walking around Ohio that you're going to see. They are multi-dimensional beings that can move in and out of our plane of existence, or our third dimension, as it's called. So I know that the extraterrestrials are a big topic of conversation, and because I talk directly to them, they tell me what's going on. I talk to them through my clients that get hypnotized, and I know a lot of different extraterrestrial entities that I personally talk to. So I believe in it. I think it's amazing. I think that when the first contact occurs, if you are open-minded enough to allow yourself to believe in that and explore it, you'll have that gift of seeing them. If you don't, you won't. If you fear them, you won't see them, because they're not here to scare anybody. So that's just some of the information about what I do, what I'm all about, what my beliefs are, and how I would like to reach out and help people. You find me at transformandrise.com. My book is called To the Beach, Cut Ties and Run. My name is Kelie Cichoski, and I hope that this has given you a little bit of background on who I am, where I came from, and why I'm here doing what I'm doing. Thank you for watching.